Gabimaru was born a shinobi that studied only killing techniques. Sadly, his parents were killed by the chief when he was a baby because they wanted to leave the village. Even so, he grew up and slaughtered many lives, which led him to being sentenced to death. But it turns out it's not so easy to kill Gabimaru. They tried decapitation, but his neck broke the sword. They tried burning him alive, using bulls to split him in two, and more. But none of it worked. Sagiri, an Asamun sword tester from the Yamada clan, is tasked with getting records of Gabimaru before he's executed. Turns out he was captured when he tried to leave the village during a job, but was betrayed by his cohorts, who might have been put up to it by the chief, since it's forbidden for anyone to leave the village. Gabimaru was known as Gabimaru the Hollow because of his empty emotions and his lack of fear for death. But when faced with his final execution style, beheading by Sagiri, he fights back in fear and realizes that he does want to live to make it back to his wife, the chief's daughter, the same wife that believed he wasn't hollow because he cared for her and he wanted to stop killing to live a life with her. Sagiri announces that Gabimaru has an official pardon by the shogunate, but only if he agrees to go to the island Shinsiku to search for the elixir of life. 5 expeditions previously went to the island and only 1 person came back, but they were in a trance with flowers blooming from them. Agreeing to the terms, Gabimaru and multiple other criminals are gathered for the expedition. Each criminal will be assigned an Asamun monitor from the Yamada clan that is ready to behead them if they get out of line. If their monitor dies, even on an accident, the criminal will be beheaded, and if their monitor isn't with them when the group leaves the island, the criminal will be left behind. But the ratio of criminals to monitors are off, so they are told to reduce their numbers, battle royale style, but with hands tied. Among the criminals, there are some with exceptional abilities, Gabimaru being one of them. Aizen, the first ranked Asamun, tries to convince Sagiri to leave because she's a woman, and he believes when time comes to execute, she will hesitate. The day ends with only 10 criminals standing. The shogun provides each criminal with 3 days worth of food and a drawing of the plant believed to make the elixir of life. Gabimaru is paired with Sagiri and tells her that the elixir is real because his chief demonstrated his immortality by being stabbed multiple times and living thanks to the medicine he once took. Now on the island, criminals try to attack each other to give themselves more time to look for the elixir without competition. Gabimaru fights Sagiri, trying to kill her to freely and quickly look for the elixir. He realizes he's holding back in the fight and hesitates due to a memory of his wife, telling him that he isn't hollow and has feelings. He tells Sagiri that he doesn't care about the others, but knows killing her would hurt. Sagiri tells him that she will overlook this because she would like to see him face his feelings and reclaim his life. So they continue their journey. Gabimaru and Sagiri fight a humanoid fish and huge smiling creatures. While Gabimaru saves Sagiri, he is saved by Asamun Genji, whose criminal died and is now helping Asamun Senta watch over his criminal Yuzuriya. Yuzuriya and Gabimaru decide to form an alliance, and they all share information about the island thus far. Genji tells Sagiri that he can take over monitoring Gabimaru and tries to convince her to leave, since she is to marry the next head of the clan, and because she's a woman. Sagiri tells Genji that she will be staying and following her own samurai path, but a surprise attack from Rokuroda causes Genji's death and a fight to break out with Gabimaru jumping in to help. He uses his technique to cause a huge forest fire to smoke out Rokuroda outside of an old abandoned village where they meet a young girl named Mei and a humanoid tree named Hoko. A fight breaks out with Mei punching Gabimaru hard with fists that glow, leading him to question her humanity. They end up restraining her, but let her go when she begins to cry. They accept Hoko's offer of food and a bath once they return Mei. Back at the village, Hoko tells the group about the 3 regions of the island, with the elixir, which they call Tan, being located in the center of the island called Hore. Hoko warns them of the 7 Tensen, immortal beings that never allow anyone to leave the island alive. Meanwhile, secret brothers Asamun Toma and criminal Aza run into 2 women who happen to be Tensen, Jofa and Taufa. They fight but are knocked out and thrown into a well of bodies covered in flowers. On the beach, Asamun Tenza and wrongfully convicted criminal Nurugai are approached by Tensen Zujin and is beheaded by Tenza's master Shion, the 4th rank Yamada Asamun, who also happens to be blind. An intense fight occurs with Tenza sacrificing his life to allow Nurugai and Shion time to run away. Back in the village, while Sagiri, Yuzura, Hoko, Mei, and Senta are asleep, Gabimaru decides to head for the center, Horai. He reaches the gates and is greeted by Tenshin Zujin, who is on guard duty, but doesn't really feel like fighting any humans at the moment. So he tells Gabimaru that he will spare his life if he leaves. They fight, and Zujin questions if Gabimaru is actually a human, given his strong hits. But Gabimaru doesn't have the upper hand for long because Zujin transforms into a huge flower monster, bursting with more energy, while Gabimaru is barely hanging on, internally telling his wife that he might not make it home before passing out. He is saved by Mei and they escape, leaving Zujin to question what Mei was up to. Back at the village, Senta and the group realize Gabimaru was gone and assume he went towards the center. Given that Hoko can't find Mei, he believes she went after Gabimaru. The Tenshin leader, Rain, holds a meeting to warn them that these humans are different and not to underestimate them. Zujin is in bad shape after his fight with Gabimaru from the night before, but when asked about it, he lies and says that he killed him. They end their meeting with a glass of elixir that heals Zujin. When Gabimaru regains consciousness, he's approached by the Asamun Fushi and his criminal Tamaya, who is down to one hand due to a butterfly sting. Putting his ego aside, Gabimaru requests that they work together, which Tamaya agrees to. When Mei wakes, they notice that she's aged a little bit. With broken sentences, she tells them to defeat Tenshin, they will need to use Tao, and from that, they also figure out that the area around the navel must be a weakness. While trying to figure out Tao, Tamaya and Gabimaru fight off creatures and two doshi that serve as the Tenshin's right hand. During this fight, Gabimaru is able to notice Tao, and they are able to defeat the two doshi. Meanwhile, Aza is able to climb out of the pit with his brother on his back, just to be met by a doshi. After attacking Aza's neck, the doshi sees him regenerate, notices the vine-like marks, and an increase in his Tao, making the doshi wonder if it's due to him previously being in the pit. Aza is able to defeat the doshi by punching a hole through its navel area, but Toma becomes scared of what his brother could be turning into. Sagiri, Senta, Yuzurai, and Hoko make it through the gates of Horai, but are greeted by Tenshin Mudan. They learn that the island is a place for experiments, and Hoko's village was part of one. Mudan tells them that if they were to consume Tan, it would turn humans into trees like Hoko's people. So technically, the elixir of life does not exist. While being attacked by Yuzurai, Mudan realizes that she can see Tao, which makes her very interesting to him. But she hasn't mastered it, so he offers to train her. Sagiri clears her mind, works on her breath, and attacks Mudan. This time, he notices her Tao has increased, and he doesn't regenerate, leading him to believe that her Tao is different and poisonous to him. But this technique tires her quickly. They think that they defeated Mudan when his body turns into a pile of blooming flowers, but are surprised when one shoots out to attack Yuzurai, but Santa runs in front to protect her and ends up in a trance with flowers blooming from his head. Mudan goes through his Kishikai transformation, turning into a huge flower-like being. Shion shows up, cutting down attacking flowers. Shion tells Nurugai to get the others out and to cut the flowers from Senta to slow the progression. Nurugai learned that her hugs energize people, and it turns out that she actually transfers Tao to them. Wrapped in bandages covered in Yuzurai's poison slime to prevent flowers from blossoming in any cuts, Sagiri and Nurugai rush to help Shion during the fight. Thanks to Senta, Shion was able to find the center of Mudan's weakest spot and defeat him. With only enough medicine to heal Shion or Senta, they decide that Senta is too far gone and healed Shion, while Yuzurai spends Senta's last moments holding and comforting him. Even after learning that the elixir of life doesn't exist, Sagiri states that it must because Gabimaru's chief's immortal, which leads Yuzurai to believe was probably an illusion tactic shinobis often used, a way to scare young kids so they would not go against the chief. She also questioned the chief's motives for marrying off his daughter to Gabimaru, since shinobis are basically seen as pawns. Instead, she believes they messed with Gabimaru's head to not only motivate him with fear, but also have another motivation to keep him from leaving. Meanwhile, Gabimaru wakes up in a cave with Tamaya, Mei, and Fushi, not remembering who they are, and only remembering that he is his village's greatest ninja, Gabimaru the Hollow. But Mei can sense the Tao in his head being off. The end credit shows men reading an urgent message from the Shogun for the Yamada clan, asking them to go to Shenzenku Island to oversee the expedition members and choose new criminal monitors and assign them to Shogun. Season 2 is releasing this January, and it's been 3 years, so I cannot wait to see how all of the different groups will make it on this island. Remember, they've only been on the island for 3 nights. With this new expedition, what new characters will be introduced to the island? Will there be other shinobi from Gabimaru's village? How will the other Tensen react when they find out about Mudan's defeat? And is Gabimaru's wife real? Let me know in the comments what your predictions are and what you're most excited for in season 2. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell to join our growing community of anime fans. Until next time, bye!